Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be all about things Tudor and my girl Amberlynn. I love anything to do with Amberlynn, books, TV series, give me recommendations. I love them all. So I read a load of books recently about Amberlynn, and so I thought I'd give you my honest reviews and opinions on them. So first up, I'm going to start with a book which is called the Amberlynn Papers. This is non-fiction. This is by Elizabeth Norton, and it's basically letters about Amberlynn written by people who knew her or were alive at the same time as her. And so some of it's just gossip. There's Henry VIII's letters to Anne in this. There's someone called George Watts was writing a book about Amberlynn, and so his things about her childhood and various situations are written within this. I didn't like it though. And I bought this book brand new. I thought I was going to absolutely love it, and it just felt like a struggle to read. This has taken me a really long time to read as well. Like, I got this years ago, and when I first got it, I tried to read it and was like, ugh, it just felt very headachy. I think a big part of that is the format of the book. There's all this massive block text and it's tiny writing, and I felt that disconnected me from the book because it felt like an absolute struggle. I wasn't reaching to pick this book up. Also, a lot of the letters are damaged, so mid-sentence it will go ... And I just couldn't really get the flow of it, to be honest with you. This was a massive struggle, but there is a part of me that's glad that I read it, but I don't feel like I learned any new information from it. So I wasn't a fan of that. Next up, I have some historical fiction. My boyfriend actually got this for me, like, not this Christmas, the Christmas before, and it was so sweet because he knows I like Amberlynn, so he got this book for me. This is called Phoenix Rising. It's by Hunter S. Jones. This is a self-published book, I believe, and so I think you can get this off Amazon. I think it's where my boyfriend got it, and it's about the last hour of Amberlynn's life. So it flips between different people. So it starts, and Henry VIII is meeting this magical spiritual woman, and she's telling him when he needs to divorce his wife, and he's sorting out the dates for that. And then it will flip to Amberlynn, and she's obviously in the tower waiting to be killed, but the whole time she's in denial. She's like, Henry's going to jump on the scaffolding, he's going to save me, everything's going to be fine. And then she's thinking how weird everyone's reacting to her, and she just thinks that he said, I'm going to behead you and put her in the tower to teach her a lesson and to show everyone that he has control over his wife, but that actually she's like, he loves me so much he wouldn't actually kill me. And it's so devastating. I think Henry, the reason he killed Anne is he just got bored of her. Like, she was really mouthy, and that's what I love about her, and said things about the time. For example, she said, why have the monks got so much money? The monks were like drinking out of gold cups and everything, but they're a charity, they're supposed to help people. Why have we allowed them to live in such luxury? We need to stop that. Also, she wanted normal people to be able to read the Bible and not have it have to be translated to them, so that they could actually sort out their own lives, instead of someone saying, oh, do this for me because it says it in the Bible, and corrupting them. And I think he just didn't like that. He didn't like that it was a woman with opinion. He thought she was this hot, beautiful woman, fell in love with her. When he was done with her, bye, move on, next person. I think that's what he felt of her, and it's so sad, this. So it's obviously just a complete fictional interpretation. What was she thinking in the tower? But I felt so attached to it. I thought it was so good. The magical bits with Henry VIII meeting this old woman who's like a magical spirit woman, wasn't interested in, gotta be honest. Skipped like them. Like, obviously I read those bits, but you could skip them if you read them. Just, I wasn't that fast. But the things from Anne's point I thought were really interesting. There's also letters between different people. So like there'll be, so there's like Henry VIII sending a letter to someone saying, I need to divorce her, and then there's a lot about Jane Seymour and his opinion on her and what's happening there, and Anne's opinion on that as well. I really enjoyed this. I did. I felt really, really emotional at the end because of, you know, she's going to be beheaded, and obviously it's just complete fictional account of what maybe she was thinking. Obviously we don't know what she was thinking, and also her bravery within it. Really enjoyed that. Next up, I'll show you the two books I got from Pitkin Press. Pitkin do these kind of brochure style books on loads of different things. So they've got pictures. Good old Anne. Look, I didn't even mean to. Oh, I'm so in sync with the Anne, I know. And then it reads like an essay, really, the Pitkin's books. So this one is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. It's very dry, it's very factual, it's very to the point, and I love Pitkin Press, gotta say it. I think they're a great publisher. They do, like I said, I've read one on Dickens before, which I really liked. really liked this. So they'll have pictures of the different wives, and then so this whole page is about Anne's downfall, and it's kind of like an essay about Anne's downfall and what happened, and then it goes on to Jane Seymour and everything to do with her and pictures, and I just really like this. So this obviously went through every single one of Henry VIII's wives and what happened to them and why it happened to them, and like I said, it just felt like an essay on every single one of the wife to give them their own spotlight, and I really liked that. I'm obviously a massive Anne Boleyn fan, but I feel like some of the wives get really forgotten, so I thought this was really nice, even though Anne did have the biggest part in the book. I thought it was really nice that some of the other wives got like a little bit of spotlight, a little bit of shine, because I feel they were all victims of Henry, and he just got bored and moved on and treated women like trash, like pieces of his property he could just throw away when he wanted, and so I think this is really good. I definitely recommend that. The other Pitkin one I got was Life in Tudor England. This is actually a bigger book, and this was all to do with food, life and death. So again, it's pictures and just essays. So about the life and death of the Tudors, wives and mothers, dressing up, Tudors at work, rich and poor. So I definitely recommend you get this, Life in Tudor England by Pitkin, and if you're interested in anything else like Victorians or like a classical author or anything, Pitkin has such good books. If you just want to read a factual essay, to the point, no opinion, no speculation, just exactly what happened and the facts of that person, Pitkin are your people. So I liked both of them, and then last but not least, I have another historical fiction one. This is My Royal Story, and the My Story is actually a series, and there's loads of different books in the series, and it's basically a diary format of someone from the time. So there's one about Elizabeth, I know there's one from the point of view of a suffragette, Anastasia from the Romanov family, and it is set out, I'll show you, like a diary. So you have the date and then everything that happened on that day, and they're normally teenage girls who it is the point of view from. So this one is about one of Anne Boleyn's maids, and about her opinion on Anne Boleyn and the family and everything that happens. So a bit about the girl's family. The girl's mum actually used to be the maid of Catherine of Aragon. So when Catherine of Aragon marries Henry VIII, her mum was there, and so her mum is very loyal to Catherine of Aragon. So Henry VIII's with Catherine of Aragon. Along pops up Anne Boleyn. Henry falls in love with her. The little girl's family then gets split, and the little girl has to go and work with Anne Boleyn and gets sent off with Anne, and her mum is still working with Catherine, is very loyal to Catherine. So it deals with this girl's like heartbreak at the time, how she had no choice over what was going to happen to her, and then she falls in love. I really liked this. It wasn't massively centering on Anne Boleyn, to be honest with you, because for some of it Anne isn't in it, and for some of it it's just about the girl talking about the time and everything that's going on. A lot of it is gossip. So the girl's saying, oh, I've heard that Henry kissed Anne, what on earth? And at the jousting he dared to look at Anne. And so a lot of it is like that. She really doesn't like Anne at the beginning because she sees that Anne is breaking up the king and his wife, and that's immoral of what she's doing. And Anne's reading a book from someone who talks about the corruption of the church, and this girl is like, oh, she's Satan, Anne. So for a lot of it she really doesn't like Anne Boleyn, and you can see it from her point of view 100%, but the book doesn't end with Anne's death. It goes on to tell you what happens to the girl, and I liked that. I liked that they could have just ended it with Anne's death and been like, that's it, but I was like, oh no, I want to know what happened to the girl, because she doesn't want to live in the palace anymore. She wants to get like a cottage, and she's having another baby, and it's like, does she get the cottage? Is she, what's happening there? What's happening? And I liked that whole section of it. And her mother write letters to each other. So she was telling us about what her mother had written to her, and how like devastated Catherine is, and how ill Catherine is, and how cruel Henry is throughout the whole entire situation. And that Henry, even though when he got Anne, like he's rude to Anne and humiliates her, and it just shows you like the bitterness of Henry at the time, and how that was just like how men were supposed to act, and they did act, and that was it. And I really, really like this. Like, I can't talk about it enough. I feel like I'm not selling it enough, but I did really enjoy it. Had a great charm. So that is it. That is the end of this book reviews video. Tell me if you have read any of these books. Tell me what books I need to read next, fiction and non-fiction, and hopefully I'll do one of these videos again soon. So that's it for today's video. Goodbye from me, goodbye from Anne here, and I'll see you again soon for another video.